at the end of my presentation, so you usually will stay here. Can you start, please? Or some magicians, please. There are more coming out. Okay. Can you start the video, please? So what I'll do is, a picture says 1,000 words. So I'll show you some pictures, and I won't spare you with the words. This is a young girl just in our workshop. Next one, please. It's all about less than a minute now. This is a boy in Myanmar. He was born without hands and legs, and when he came to us, he was 16 years old. So he was about this size, because he had no legs above knees and no hands. And this is what we did to him in 24 hours. Could you just run it, please? And he's drinking with his own hand. Look at the smile. This is of one of the camps we did in Africa. Next one, please. This is again in Namibia. So many of them, all in one day's work. We do 15, 20 a day easily. This is what happens when you get a limb. You get back on your own 2 feet, not just literally, but also economically. He started driving auto rickshaw, which was the day following our intervention. Next one, please. Jaipur foot, so that all may walk. Just keep the last slide for the later. Thank you. My presentation is broken into 4 parts. Technology of BMVSS, which you have seen. Our organization, how we run it, which is very important because a large number of you represent civil society organizations. So do we, accept that we are in pure charity and in doing things and not generating great ideas. But I think it will be a great example of how NGO can be built. A world's largest NGO can be built out of literally nothing. Next slide. And the third part would be on problem in Africa, and fourth would be the Kigali challenge. I'll be pretty fast on that. Technology first. So Jaipur foot technology is an alternative technology to Western limb, and it is the only technology, the foot piece, which resembles a human foot. And let me show it to you. This is Jaipur foot. This is what we make in Jaipur. It has the highest quality standards, the only one approved by ISI, the Indian Standard Marking. Because of all these different materials we have and the play of it and chords, it actually works on all 3 planes on which a human limb works. Pardon my bad manners. It will work like this, the toes. It will work like this, it will inversion, eversion, and transverse. So exactly what a human limb does. Western limb, which is sack design mainly, they don't do these functions. So in Jaipur foot, you can wear a shoe and even not wear a shoe. To all of us, perhaps it looks very superficial question because we have shoes. In India, a lot of people don't have. But more importantly, in the Eastern traditions, you cannot go to a temple or you cannot pray if you are wearing a shoe. If you can't but wear a shoe, I mean, in a way, you are not being able to follow your tradition. So in Jaipur foot, you can do both of these. So the second part of it is, this is the foot piece we make. This is the shank. It looks very easy. Actually, you can run a car over this, it will not break. It's so strong. It's very light. This limb, the below knee limb, is lighter than the normal human limb. It's so light because you're carrying dead weight. And it's important that we made it so robust and so light that anybody could use it with great ease. And we have people who work for us now. And a large number of our people who work for us are people who are amputees and whom we give limbs. One of them has actually done 14 half marathons, and he'll be doing the next one next year. The last thing on this is above knee, and this is again important. This knee joint was developed by we developed it with Stanford University. They did all the engineering. So all credit to them. Materials engineering, they did it. This knee joint in 2009, when it was invented, Time magazine rated it as the 50 best inventions. Time magazine rated it as the 50 best inventions of the world. I think the only Indian product in that list. We get it for $20. Now it's about $30 when we did it. A comparable leg in US would cost $10,000. We do it for $100. So a question when UN celebrated us, and UN did an event on us in 2018 in UN headquarters in New York, and the question was, how can you do something for $100, which costs $10,000? And our answer was very simple. Ask those who are charging $10,000 for something which can be done for $100. I mean, how else could I explain? How do you prove honesty? You can't prove honesty. You can prove dishonesty. Have you ever seen honesty being proved? So I said, why don't you go and ask them? Anyways, there's the technology part, and this is important because our organization was founded to help the poorest people. Those who can buy limbs, they are most welcome to do that. They don't have to burden us. But most people in India who lost limbs, and I think it will apply to Africa as well, they are the ones who are wage earners. Once the limb is gone, the whole family sinks in. It's not just the individual. And you can't charge money from him. And people have often asked this question, how can you survive? Well, we have been there for 47 years. We started with 59 limbs. Now we do 90,000 services a year. We have survived. So something works. And everything is free of cost to the beneficiary, zero cost. If you feed them, we don't charge. If you have to pay for the tickets, we don't charge. We will not take a penny from the beneficiary. So where does the money come from? It comes from donations and sponsorships of our work, of which I'll talk a little later. So I've told you about the technology part. Let me come to our organization part. So we started in 1975 as a solution to a large number of people who were losing limbs in India. And as I said, they were all sinking in further. I mean, they're already in bad shape. So, and hats off to this is just effort of one individual, my namesake, Mr. D.R. Mehta, a celebrated civil servant of India, an exceptional human being, an extremely compassionate human being. And he realized there were two major problems. One was affordability and second was access. So affordability was taken care of by giving everything free of cost. Access was taken care of by no appointments. Anybody could walk in anytime. And he'll be welcome, no matter when he comes, we'll do the limb. Second thing was, we all have open centers. We now have 26 centers all over India and 14 states, so there are still some more states to go. But more importantly, we've improvised over the years. Now we have camps, so fixed location camps, which is what we do in Africa. We have sub-centers, which are open on pre-announced dates. And now we have a mobile workshop, fully equipped, autonomous mobile workshop. You can actually take it to your doorstep, make a limb and move on. So whole idea is to just not bother the person who lost a limb. All that burden should be on us. He must just get a limb, zero cost, minimum hassles. And we have so far been successful in that. Our organizational ethos, we run a very, very frugal organization. To the point that, and I'm not boasting about it, I'm just telling you a fact. We don't drink a cup of tea in office. We don't serve a cup of tea in office. You've been so warm and hospitable here. When you come to Jaipur, only a bottle of water. But that's what we give because it's very hot. So I mean, we don't want, but we don't charge. The entire leadership of organization is unpaid volunteers. Mr. D.R. Mehta, who's the founder chairman, me, I carry a fancy title of executive president. It means nothing. We are all unpaid volunteers. We drive in our own cars. We use our own mobiles. We don't drink a cup of tea in the office. That's important because we have only two major constituencies. Our beneficiaries, they are the front-end focus. Minimum paperwork. There's no cash counter. They come. We do all the work, put the limb. Same evening, they go back home, in most cases. In extreme cases of bilateral amputations, very high amputations, maybe we have to keep them for a day or two to just help them get the confidence to walk. But fitment is one day. And the second constituency to which we are very, very transparent and honest is the donor community. No donor gives us money for my cup of tea or for my fancy living habits. They only give for my work. Hence, no cup of tea, nothing. and that's important. We have kept faith with both of them. We have done 2 million services since our inception. No, there'll be, you break it into 4 parts. We have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So nobody comes close to us. That's the scale. We have worked in 39 countries of the world. We have done 93 camps. We have 8 affiliated centers all over the world. Many more in the pipeline. I'll talk of that in a while. Besides being free, the second thing was the people who get our limbs, because they are so distressed, they must guess what is the best possible technology. So we developed this with Stanford University. Now we are working with MIT on an even more improved knee joint and more improved foot piece. And hopefully that will make an even better limb, because so R&D is a constant effort. We are working with IITs, the celebrated IITs, of which Arvind is one clear example here. And ISRO, we are working with on materials. So we're working with a whole host of top technology institutions in US and in India to constantly improve what we do. The last important point on our organization is it's very decentralized. So working is very easy. There are no large reporting systems. It's basically, when the person comes, just give him a limb, make him happy, send him back. And we have survived for, as I said, 47 years. We have grown every year, and we have had left a tremendous impact. What are the outcome of it? Harvard Business School has done a case study on us, and they have not done too many case studies on India. And as an exception, they are actually revising the case study because they think this is a template for how an NGO can be built globally. So they are revising the case study. It got delayed the last couple of years. And very interestingly, the case study was done by Professor Datar, who's now the Dean of Harvard. So this study will definitely come out. Others have done case studies. IIM Bangalore has done a case study on us, etc. Professor C.K. Prahlad, and you had mentioned, Arvind, about the bottom of the pyramid. Professor C.K. Prahlad, in his celebrated book of 2004, Fortune at the Bottom of the Pyramid, he did a whole chapter on us. And some of the statistics I'm giving are their calculations. Our limb at that point of time used to cost about $20. Now the costs have increased in 20 years. Now the average cost of a limb, and we take average cost because below knee are cheaper, above knee because the Stanford knee joint gets expensive, but the average cost in India is still shy of $100. A comparable limb, as I said, would be $10,000. So that's a huge impact that we have made to people who come to us. Now about Africa. I can keep talking about our organization, but that's not the point. I just give you some points in terms of how we built a very, very viable, robust organization while giving everything free of cost. On Africa, now, we have done some work in Africa as we have done elsewhere. The challenge in Africa, and we don't have exact statistics of lower limb amputees in Africa, but I'm just extrapolating what we have for India. So in India, 8 people out of every 1,000 have what you call lower limb locomotor problems. So simply put, they're amputees or polio patients or deformed legs, simply put. So in the 1.4 billion population of Africa, easily there will be 1 million people who don't have limbs. And that's a tragedy. I know you people have been talking about billions and trillions in climate change, funding, etc. I'm dealing only with 1 million people, and another 4 million people are dependent upon them. So I'm only focusing on these 5 million people. So it's very humbling when all of you talk of billions. We're just dealing with 5 million people. But we can change those 5 million lives in a time-bound manner in a matter of few years. That's what it'll take. Technology exists, technicians exist, materials exist. All it requires is people coming together to set up those centers and fund it. Sadly, we can't fund charities outside. Our laws don't permit it, and we just don't get that kind of money to be able to do it. But it's something which is easily doable, easily scalable. On the Africa challenge, getting back to the Africa situation, so about at least 1 million people require limbs. And it can all be done in a few years. If we work in a time-bound manner, all countries come together. And that's why I wanted you all to hear, because you deal with African leaderships far more than we deal with. Take this message, take this word. As writers, you can write. As thinkers, you can talk about it. Shake leadership. galvanize civil society organizations, that this is one thing which is so easily doable. A tragedy for 5 million people can be actually removed in just a matter of few years. Kigali challenge, that's the last thing I'll talk about. I must say I was fascinated with Rwanda, not having been here any time. And I read about it, and it's a remarkable transformation story. The moment I landed at the airport, I don't know if you saw it, Samir, any of you saw it. It's the country of doers. Amazing. I mean, people talk about the heritage. Here, the country, we said we are a country of doers. And I think let's launch this challenge for Africa, where perhaps Rwanda could be a thought leader and an example of how it can be done, of, say, taking care of the entire population of amputees in a matter of maybe 1 year, 2 years. We'll be happy to help them do it. We'll train their people. We'll send our technicians. We'll send materials, whatever is required. It's doable. So I hope this challenge, and once you establish one template in Africa, it's very easy to people learn very easily by examples. What has been our experience in Africa? We have done so far camps in 21 countries, north from Egypt, in the south until Namibia. We have done 21 camps. And I must acknowledge here the very generous support of the Ministry of External Affairs, of which I was an erstwhile member. In the last 4 years, they have funded 10 camps in Africa, and they are willing to support some more. So I think we have, and it's like a proof of concept, that in 40 days, you can put 500, 600 limbs in an organized manner very easily. And the limbs work, they are very convenient to walk. You've seen people running, people dancing. That's why I showed you those. It's all very easily doable. And perhaps Rwanda would be the first one to set yet another example for Africa, that here's a problem of 5 million people, let's sort it out maybe in 3 years, 4 years, as early as possible. Because those who don't have limbs, they are suffering every day. Every day is a problem. Plus, besides this person, another person gets held back to help the person. A lot of you are economists here, so just 2 minutes. A lot of you are economists, so just let me give you some paybacks. The cost of a limb is $250. If there are 2 people who are out of circulation, they earn in 1 month, maybe 2 months. So payback is 2 months. I know of no government scheme, having worked for the government or a private sector business, where payback is 2 months. It's impossible to get. So it's a huge, huge poverty alleviation program. It's not just a humanitarian program, it's a poverty alleviation program. So that's Africa Challenge. I will end with what Mahatma Gandhi said. And his famous hymn, I don't know, I'm sure you Indians know it. Vaishnav jan tenere kahiye peed parai jane na. Good man is one who feels the pain of others. Can I have the last slide, please? Just the last slide. And before that, let me complete the protocol. Thank you, Samir. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Mannat. Where are you, Mannat? And in absentia, my dear friend, Ambassador Navdeep Suri. Without their help, I would not have been here. So thank you very much for giving this opportunity. This is a photo of an African boy. This is real. We just saw it. We don't know where he is. We are trying to find out. Who was drawn by chalk. If he had limbs, how it would have looked at. And this was his imagination. And my question is, what is our imagination for him? Thank you very much for your patience.